It may be on. But we already freeze. That quick, huh? It's quick. Hey, welcome to Dad's Workshop. We have been struggling to stay afloat online the last couple days. Outdoor Malachi, first one in. Welcome, Outdoor Malachi. First one in class. How you doing, buddy? It's morning here, so good morning. Scraping the buckskin. Hey, welcome to Dad's Workshop. I'm Buckskin Cow. That's what I'm saying. I'm very good, man. Thank you for asking. Well, we don't get disconnected. Put it up. She sells seashells by the seashore. She sells seashells for sure. She sells seashells by the seashore. She sells seashells for sure. Who sells seashells by the seashore? She sells seashells by the seashore. She sells seashells for sure. We don't get disconnected today. We should have a productive day, I imagine. I can't imagine we wouldn't have a productive day. Diego Ruiz is in the house. Welcome, friend of the program. Long time friend of the program, Diego Ruiz. This is a buckskin from an actual big buck who was the owner of these antlers over here. So this was the buck that owned this skin. Now this is only half his rack. I've used some of it for buttons and so forth. So yeah. So one of these, white-tailed deer hide. And it's been turned into buckskin as well. So welcome. Thank you for the question. Great question too. What I'm scraping, I'm just scraping it just to frizz it. I got to get well, it's called frizzing when you take the grain off, and there is still some grain on here, so I am technically frizzing as well. But I'm kind of physically frizzing it too, in the less traditional sense of the word. And that is because this is traditionally in England or in Europe when they scraped a hide, or the European method for scraping a hide's grain off is called frizzing. Sometimes called graining here. It's warm here today. If you notice, I'm in different attire because of the warmth out here today. Yes. Some of these questions about where I got it and all this will be answered in my next long form video. So definitely subscribe. We're on the race to 5,000 subscribers. My name is Calvin. What's your name? Not Malachi. I know Malachi's name. Introduce yourself. Let us know who you are. We're apparently not getting cut off yet. Fingers crossed. Knock on wood without leather in between. Got plenty of wood to knock on here. Hopefully we won't disconnect today. We'll have a productive day. So frizzing it makes it soft, right? Y'all see how soft that looks now? Y'all see how soft that is? It's pretty soft. Let me show you what my other hides look like. Hold on a second. Show and tell. That's what's cool about YouTube. Let me move the microphone. Oh, no microphone. Sorry, y'all. Check. Check. Screw that in a little. Hold on. This microphone's loose. Needs to be. Wow, it broke off all three of those things. Well, that doesn't help, does it? Trying to find a way to position my mic, y'all. What happened? Oh, the stupid stand it was on was not effective. Summer's just distracting me. Alright, let me see here. What can I to do to get this. I'm trying to get my microphone on so you guys can, but the stand broke on me, so. Hold on, bear with me 1 second. Let me see if I can get this one little leg room on the stand. That'll hold it on, I think. Sorry about the camera movement. That's me trying to position this mic. It's directional. All right, there we go. There, we're back. All right, let me show you some stuff. Show and tell time. That's why I like YouTube. You see how crazy soft that is, man? I have scraped and scraped and scraped and scraped and scraped, and there's still a little bit of grain. You can see it down here, but in general, look how soft that is. That's the kind of stuff that our ancestors would have, you know, wanted to wear in the spring and then the summer, you know, if they're stylish, because skins are expensive. When I do a live stream, they kick me off for having a knife. Is that right, Malachi? Well, my knife is, I'm not just, there's a lot of live streams that have knives on them, so I hope you don't get angry about that, and I'm sorry they do that to you. That's not a good thing. Definitely my knives are being used to do stuff. I'm not just like showing, hey, look at my knife. I'm, you know, switchblade jack. You know, I'm not doing that. Obviously, I'm using the knife for some sort of functional reason, but I can't pretend to understand YouTube, man. They've demonetized my videos for various things, Malachi, so I'm sorry to hear that, but yeah, that is the way YouTube is. They don't, it's mechanical. If somebody complains, then they just shut it down. That's what they do. They don't ask questions. And if you appeal, sometimes they don't even answer your appeal. So it sucks. It's not a democratic or fair way to do things either. You know, I've got a lot of complaints about that, but I'm trying not to. I'm going to try not to. Oh, thank you, Kevin. Welcome. Welcome. It looks like we have not been disconnected yet. Can y'all hear me all right? I repositioned the microphone. I plug the mic in too. Y'all see these little dark spots here? Little dark spots on there right here. And you can see this is grain that's going onto the knife. Like what's catching on the blade of the knife is grain. So I'm trying to get these last spots off so the whole texture is this. I also cooked another batch of tannins up. So if I want to add some or impart some more color on these buckskins, because they're only a little darker on this side, or get this color fluid or uniform, I might throw it into the tannins. But I don't want to mess the softness up either. It's super soft. So that's what I'm going for on this one as well. Hey, hope y'all stick around. Definitely subscribe to the channel, and if you haven't done so yet, consider becoming a member. There's a little $sign down in the corner. You click that $sign. There's an option to become a member here to the channel. We have a lot of members right now. We have about 20. If somebody's counting my members and thinks it's smaller and wants to correct me, that's fine. It's around 20. If I'm rounding up, forgive me. I'm just trying to make it sound good. We got around 20 renewing members. It's a small channel. But we have 165 gift memberships, so there's a lot of members right now. We have like 185 members. Join the membership. Join the ranks of the renewing members today, and let's get to know each other. And let me provide you with good content. I've been, you know, all I do is spend my time thinking about content, how I can tailor the content towards my audience and provide something that I think is important, that's gonna have some staying power in the world. You know, put my stamp on civilization in whatever way I can. I was a teacher for 17 years, and whatever contribution I made there was great. Now, gotta live in the present. One foot in the present, 1 foot in the future. That's where I'm at. I can't live in the past, and that's the way everybody should be. Ever have a friend, and they're really they're a reminiscing type of friend. They're a nostalgic type, you know. Those folks are. Oh, I didn't realize I went on a little early today, didn't I? Those nostalgic folks are fun for a little while. You know, you have a couple, you kick a couple back, and you get nostalgic. But then that nostalgia, you know, it gets old after a while because we can't bring the past back. Not to be sad and depressing, but all we have is the now and potentially the future. You can also live in the future too much too. Gordon Fletcher, welcome. Welcome to Ruiz also, a friend of the program, and Malachi for popping through. You might say I have paid my dues there, Malachi, though. You know, I've done a few live streams, so it may be a little different. I've had live streams demonetized for different stuff. They don't tell me what it is. They just say they just say it was demonetized for, and then they make me guess at what it was demonetized for. Gordon, welcome, Gordon. Hopefully I'm not too loud here. I don't want you getting feedback. Hey, double tap that screen and like this video. Right now I'm scraping Buckskin, and the last few days have been a little rough on YouTube, so I had a whole bunch of projects lined up, and I'm just gonna go ahead and finish these projects that I'm working on, rather than spinning my wheels if YouTube might disconnect again. They were disconnecting badly the last couple of days, and my numbers were way better than this, and they were disconnecting on me. So it's kind of bittersweet to come back. I'll tell you that. Come back to middle range stuff. But welcome. Thankful for you being here. Grateful for the day. Glad everybody popped through. Yeah, we just got off the, we just got to play by their rules, I guess. That's right, man. I was thinking about how I have freedom of speech the other day. I asked AI a question about whether I should post this video that I made. I was like, this video is not that bad, and you know, I'm following the laws of my jurisdiction. I'm not trying to gross people out, because like some of this hide stuff grosses people out. It's not shock. It's not for shock value. It's actually educational. And well, my point is that you just don't know, you know, and YouTube it's a private business. Their monopoly on online videos is probably just that. It's a monopoly, and so they really can choose what they want and pay us what they want and all of that. Be careful what you wish for sometimes, I think. You know, I wish YouTube was a little, like when I sent them an email about the dropping of the live stream, the response I got back was very plainly, it was your fault, right? That's what they were saying, basically. They're like, in other words, it's your fault. I'm like, what? How's that possible? My internet's fine. I got two different internets. I got an internet and a backup internet. How is my internet the problem? Well, Outdoor Malachi said, what am I going to make from this hide? Well, I've got a couple projects, man. I'm going to make a pair of flip-flops, I'm going to make a pair of moccasins, and I'm going to make a buckskin hat. Those are the three most important items that I think I can make from these hides. The other thing I can do with these hides is hang them up and put them away and eventually sell them, because they're expensive, because they're hand-worked buckskin, and you just can't find combination tan buckskin like that online. You may find something that looks like this online, but you're not going to find something that was handmade. It's just dyed to look like this. This buckskin is not dyed. It's really tanned like this. Like I actually used wood to tan it. I used bark. I put it in the bark for months. You know, it's not I just bought some leather and started scraping at it. I made this leather from the animal. So the other thing I can do, like I know Stephen, what his name is, Stephen Edholm, the hide guy on YouTube. The other thing I can do is roll them up and put them away and don't do nothing with them. But I just think that that's not really helpful. I think my channel's about functional, and this is Dad's workshop. So what's Dad's just gonna make some leather and put it aside like a snob? Nah, Dad's gonna make something out of that leather, dude. That's what's gonna happen. I mean, I'm willing to sell these. If the question is a purchase-driven question, email me at dadsworkshopcalvin@yahoo.com. I'm always willing to sell if the price is right. You know, everything's for sale. I got children to support, so. But if I don't and the price isn't right, I am going to make stuff out of them. I recently offered a guy on YouTube a bunch of money for a bunch of his stuff that I wanted to do stuff with that I could use on the program. And he's like, kind of brushes me off, and I'm like, man, you just got offered cash money for a whole bunch of your stuff. Now you're going to just throw it away, throw it at people who don't even, man, he gives stuff to people who aren't even members on his channel, don't even subscribe, just people in the chat. Man, how you use your energy in this world is really important. Think about it like the guy who stops to help somebody on the side of the road, somebody's starter broke and he's up under their car, hitting their starter with a hammer to start their car or whatever. But then when he goes home, he doesn't have 5 minutes for his kids to help them with their homework. You know what I mean? People waste their energy on stuff. People use their energy for the wrong shit all the time, too. Yesterday, when I was getting disconnected and stuff, I was like thinking to myself, hey, what's up, Lion? Where's Lions? Lions Fix-It Shop over there in Nottinghamshire. Over in England. Appreciate you coming through. Haven't seen you in a few days, man. Hope you're all right. How's it going? Also, member. Shout out members. So yeah, man. A lot of people they'll miss, and even I'm guilty of this. Misapportionating, whatever it is. My time, right? Apportioning. If I use my time for this and dabble in that, and it results in nothing spiritually, physically, you know, there's a lot of ways you can gain from things, not just financially. But your time is valuable too. It's a non-renewable resource. We were talking about this the other day. Time, your time, you, and that's plural you, all of you out there. Your time is a non-renewable resource. You cannot get it back, as many of you are aware. And how you use that time, think for a second, like sit there and think when you drink your cup of coffee in the morning, how am I going to use my time? You know, and I don't mean, some of y'all got to go to work, so it's, you go to work, I'm going to go to work, I'm going to do my best job I can, and make sure I give them the time that they are paying me for. And then I'm going to come home. How am I going to use my time home? Is it going to be to socially or interact or develop my social life? That is with other people, my interpersonal skills. And I don't want to get too deep into this, but how you use your time is important. That's why I can't play a lot of video games, y'all. I can't. I can play them a little bit. I played my son in Madden the other day, and I smoked him. He started out all right, but I was really good. I'm really good at it, but I don't play it. I can't play video games because they're a waste of my time unless I'm playing my video game with my son. That's not a waste of time to me. That's fully worth it because I'm spending time with him, and it's fun, right? He's having fun. Otherwise, I think of video games as for me at this stage of my life, it's a non-starter. Outdoor Malachi said, I have this raccoon skin I've been wanting to make a cap out of. You probably need, I don't know, I guess you can use one. You probably need two. What you got to measure around your head. And we are going to make one of those on this channel too, Malachi. I just haven't gotten to that. And today is warm, so I can hardly even think about making a coonskin hat on a warm day. But I think you need like 24 inches of raccoon to make a hat. This is a big male right here. Let me get my tailor's tape here. I think you need 24 plus inches. I know I got a big head, but I'm overestimating. And I mean in body, right? So I think you need, like, you would need, the average large raccoon's going to be 18 to, 19 inches based on my experience. And then you need to, you're going to need a second raccoon, I think. I've got a design, though. I got to double check my design. We'll see whether that works. Yeah, Lion said, yeah, I used to make models, and then I realized I could make a real motorbike, and I did. So here, my experience is so similar to that, Lions, and it's like I was playing The Sims. My moment where I had the moment of clarity, the light bulb moment, I was playing The Sims. As many of you all might be aware of, The Sims is a very addictive, it's a fun game. Shout out to anyone playing The Sims right now. I was playing The Sims, and my child in The Sims became a piano genius, but didn't want to play the piano at all, so sucked at life, right? I was like, wow, that sucks. And it was similar to me. So I was like, okay, this is not good, and this is like my real life. Hold on, this is my real life, and I only get so much time in this real life. And then I realized, okay, let me actually put time into nurturing my actual life. What are we doing in this game simulating an actual life? And then we get into, are people Sims, and are we actually Sims? That controversy, which is a real controversy. Probably need one more Malachi, but let me Google it. I got my phone here. Hold on 1 second. I just feel like my other phone inside has the pattern that Mike sent me. How big's your head? Okay. Yeah, it says you can do it. AI says you can do it, man. It's just generally it's good to have two, and it depends on how good your stitching is. I haven't practiced my fur stitching yet. I've only stitched in leather. I haven't stitched in fur. It's trickier. And if you make a mistake, you don't have any room for error when you have one raccoon hide. You have that one hide, and you don't want to waste it. Yeah, that's right. TikTok. You know, I didn't even think about that, man. And the whole idea is, and the psychology is, Lions, for us to keep our eyes on a screen. And even in my case right now, my MO is to keep you watching my live stream. 100%. That's my MO. You know, and everybody who knows me knows that is when I'm live streaming, that's my job. My job is to keep you watching. Right? So with that in mind, a video game and the scientists and psychologists that they evilly use behind it, because there is that behind all of this stuff too. Psychological studies don't always go for good. They also go for evil. When they find out what keeps you glued to a screen. You know, and you don't actually need to be a psychologist to do that. It's called SEO, right? I had a guy who once upon a time paid me to do that stuff for him. Now, I'm not an SEO expert, but I was able to do the basic stuff to provide him with baseline information. What do people like to see? I'm not always like spamming stuff to try to get views. Obviously, there's a million ways you can get views, and you can shock viewers into viewing as well. I do things that are fair, like say I pull my hide up and I do this, and I've been telling folks that I've been talking to on their live streams, show us what you're working on, right? So this is the buckskin that I'm scraping right now. You can see it's getting nice and smooth and even. This was not an even pelt at all, discolored all over. I put it through 2 tanning processes. It was tanned twice. Still, we have this stuff right here. I want to scrape this and get this nice and soft. So I'll do something like that. Sorry about that, camera. You know, and besides the camera getting slammed right there, usually that's going to bring my views up, right? Because people are seeing the detail of the piece I'm working on, talking at a certain rhythm. The other day I told a guy on his live stream, I said, say 7 words, limit yourself to 7 words a minute. Now y'all know right now I'm yapping a lot. But to start, I couldn't say very much on my live stream. Every time I said stuff, I would lose viewers. So I integrated talking onto my live stream little by little. So if some of y'all have been familiar with me for a while, you know that we did this kind of what we might call ASMR for a while, which was just me working silently, basically. And then as time went on, I yacked more and more, and I tailored my audience towards me yakking and working on stuff, right? Though early on, a guy told me that live streaming, I'm paraphrasing, but he basically told me I would never make it because how stupid to do something on your live stream, right? And this is a person who actually sits on a computer on their live stream the whole time. And that just, all that did was just give me the determination, man. I was like, this jackass thinks he has the answer sitting there on his computer clicking. That's funny. Cream going rise to the top, ladies and gentlemen. Yep. So like Lion's nose. Lions will do stuff where he's whittling with an axe, right? So Lions will have his axe out. He'll have a work piece, and he's working that. This is based on my observation, Lions. You probably have better data on this, but I'm kind of taking data with my eyes. You're whittling a work piece, like a piece of willow or something that you picked up with your axe, and you've got the camera on it. Your views are in the hundreds and 200s, right? It's like, it's way up there. I've seen it before multiple times. They love to see people whittling with axes. They love that. That's something, I mean, I know that I'll cut myself if I do that too much, so I'm going to stay away from that. But definitely, they love the hatchet. See, look, my views just went up just when the hatchet showed up on camera, right? Bunch of coffee guys here. Bad Place 971, welcome to the chat. You're in a good place, Bad Place. OIA Mercantile. Good morning, Calvin. May your coffee be strong and your creativity be strong. I believe that's Dan, right? Dan's, is that Dan? OIA, welcome. We've been having live stream issues the last couple of days. I don't know how many other guys, other people have had the same problems, but I know I have had problems the last few days. Raise your hand if you also, oh, Rami. Sorry about that, man. Yeah. It's been a minute, Rami. Sorry about that, buddy. But yeah, a friend of the program, Rami, also a member. Rami, welcome back. Good to see you. How you been? Rami Rutledge, I remember you, man. I'm pretty good. In my teaching career, I taught over 3,000 students. 3,000 students. And when I see them, and occasionally I do. The other day I broke down out of town. My car, I guess the battery ran out as I was waiting at this store. And I jumped out of the car and was like, looked around. I saw this guy leaving this store. And I was away from where I am right now, about a good shot. And I said, do you have a jump? He said, yeah, Mr. Seetin, I got you. You're a good dude. And I mean, I can't make that up, y'all. You know, he jumped my car. Like, one of my former students, I don't even know, I usually do remember their names, but I think his name was Steven, but I cannot remember for sure. He looked so different, you know, he had facial hair and stuff. That changes everything. Bad Place 971, I'm not tanned a goat hide. Goat hide, I think, is similar to deer hide in thickness. I got neighbors, I'm pointing to the goat farms, right? There's one right there, and there's one like right over there. There's goats everywhere. The neighbor across the street, the goats sometimes come into my yard. So I want to offer him money for the goat hides, but I'm sure that they probably have someone that I'll ask them eventually. I want to work a goat hide. I have not tanned a goat hide ever. Pretty common though. Fur on. Well, it's the same process though. Bad Place though. Some animals' fur wants to slip quicker. Let me tell you. Are you asking advice? Because I am a beginner. I can tell you what I've experienced and what I think you should do based on my experience. But you may be better off asking an experienced taxidermist. That being said, you're trying to keep the fur on. I have done a couple fur on hides now, and I've had success and I've had failure on it. First of all, squirrels don't like to keep the fur, so I know the animal varies on how they like to, whether they like to hold the fur at all. Deer fur is not great. It's another thing I learned. I have a muskrat here that I did fur on also. All right, so let me tell you what I think you should do with the goat skin to keep the fur on if you haven't started yet. First of all, salt it. Salt it thickly with a layer of salt across the whole back. I was talking about this yesterday on the program. So this is a raccoon. So let's pretend that this is your goat skin, right? This whole flesh side, right? This is the grain side. This is the flesh side. The whole flesh side, you want 1/8 of an inch of salt. Non-iodized salt. Pickling salt. I've got a bag of that down here that I use as an example. This is from a company called Mrs. Wages. Maybe Heather can tag it in the live stream since we have shopping now. This is Mrs. Wages. This is available at Walmart. This is a pound of it right here, basically. This bag was a pound of it. For a goat hide, you're going to need a couple pounds, I think. Okay, all right. All right, so you already on this, man. All right, yeah, cashmere's, yeah. 30 pounds, okay, yeah. Well, you know what you're doing. The other things I've experienced is using alum works also. Alum, I get it in big containers now, but I started by getting it at Walmart in small amounts. Alum will keep it in, but it'll also shrivel it up like a piece of like a raisin. So you have to watch out with alum. But salt, citric acid, those things will keep that hair in there. If you're asking advice, sometimes I can't tell in the chat. Well, welcome to Dad's Workshop. My name is Calvin. Thank you for being here. Thanks to all my members for popping in. Wow, wind is really blowing out there. It's gonna take those clothes right off that line. Oh, yesterday if you were in here, we disconnected a lot. But in the process of that, we also put a squirrel hide into a bucking solution, or like a lime ash water is what I used. Basically, I took the ash out of my outdoor fireplace and put it in the mixed it. It was kind of wet, so I used more of it. So if it's dry, you can use less. If it's wet, you got to use more. And chances are it's not as effective. That's probably why you have to use more, because the lye is like leached out in the rain. Emre, welcome. Dacian, friend of the program, all the way from Turkey. Dacian, welcome, welcome, welcome. Looks like we're knock on wood. We're having a no disconnect day. Lions out of here. Just off to make more videos. Oiling a bowl. Take it easy, Calvin. You too, buddy. Oh, double tap that screen, like this video. My name's Calvin. This is Dad's Workshop. What's your name? Right now we're scraping a rather large buckskin. This was off an animal that was about 250-ish pounds. I'll hold it up so you can see. Probably be the equivalent of a really big billy goat. I don't know if billy goats weigh that much, right? Maybe a Bad Place can tell me if he raises goats. There's a billy goat across the street that's pretty big. Maybe not this big, though. And this is not, when it came off that deer, that was a huge hide. But it's probably, if you stretch it end to end, it's 5 feet across, 5 feet top to bottom. And it was a 12-point buck, basically. It was a big animal. Huge animal. 150 to 200, yeah. Yeah, so maybe because the billy goat across the street or whatever, he can stand up on the fence and eat the bush that the other goats can't. It's got fur on it. Yeah, I'd love to do a goat skin. I've been thinking about it, but I'd have to have somebody give them to me for a decent price. I was thinking about what I would pay for them recently. And actually, you know, I find deer skin more desirable, but if I was getting skins on a consistent basis, which is I think a lot of leather in the world, especially like old books and stuff, were made with goat skin. Goat was probably the most. Sheep's just not a very thick skin, so sheepskin's not going to be a consideration for a lot of applications, I think. So welcome to my workshop here. My name is Calvin. You're in Dad's Workshop. Welcome, welcome. What we're doing is we're scraping buckskin right now. You can kind of maybe, oh, well my thing is actually down on the table, clamped down, but you see this little schmutz that's on there? That's what I'm scraping off. It's grain and other various things on the both sides of the hide. Yeah, you don't raise them for their hides. They're raised for their meat or milk. Right? Which one? Thank you, Andrew. Appreciate you. Thanks for popping in the chat as well. Yeah, what I'm doing now, man, is I'm just doing the final bit of frizzing on this. This hide was tanned twice, dude. It was such a pain. The first time, it just didn't evenly color. There was lots of damage to the grain because this was a buck. It actually got gored. So this hole right here is a spot where it took a hit from another buck at some point and then healed. But it never, like the hole, I guess, didn't go away. It was tough. It wasn't the fatal shot, though. This buck was killed by blunt force trauma to the head, for sure. Avid deer hunter. Good. Yep. I hunt, but we're making a video about this. Most of these hides were not acquired by hunting, but I do hunt. I just got finished. It's not deer season anymore now. It's squirrel season. So, but glad you're an avid deer hunter, and I hope you got something filling the freezer this year. Deer meat is really good for you. Welcome from Boston. Last time I was in Boston, I like to think about that whenever people pop in from different places. Last time I was in Boston would be 2011, 2012. Hard to believe it's that long ago. I stayed up there in Somerville. Which is basically like Cambridge, kind of connected to Cambridge. I imagine Boston, Massachusetts, right? We're talking Boston, Massachusetts, not like Boston, Virginia, South Boston. I don't want to make the mistake. There is a South Boston, Virginia, and there is definitely deer hunters from down there, a lot of them. But Boston, Massachusetts. You got to probably go outside of Boston to get that hunting in, man. Yeah, they're not too friendly to the old hunting up there. Custom breeding and fiber makes sense. Okay, so the fiber meaning the hair is being cut off, is what you're saying, and used for felting. Is that what you mean, Bad Place? I'm so curious now. See, I learned too. I learned from you guys. Hey, make sure you subscribe to the channel, guys. My channel is nearing 5,000 subscribers. I'm trying to get to 5K, y'all. It's the race to 5K, not the 5K race, which I have done as well. Not to brag, but I've done a few of those. Check my fitness watch. I think I've got, I have to check my phone, but I did a couple competitive ones, but I think I ran just in general hundreds of 5Ks in the last couple years. So 5K, that's the number of subscribers I'm trying to get to. Do subscribe, please. My name is Calvin. I'd love to count you among my friends. Please do jump in the chat and say hi. I'm not too good to say hello to folks. That's how I roll. But welcome to Andrew. Welcome to Bad Place. Welcome all new folks. Welcome all older folks that have been here. Yes, the cashmere gets speared in the spring, sent to a mini mill in the U.S. But that's a sheep, right? Mini mill in the U.S. turning into yarn and roans. Yeah, I got the sheared part. What's crazy though is you said you did goats. That's sheep, right? That's wool.
That wool is really good for felting. Is something I just learned. I had a bunch of Icelandic sheep's wool too. I lost it, unfortunately. I had a lot of raw materials that I wanted to do stuff with. Goats. Oh, I didn't know that that they sheared goats for. Man, I gotta do some reading. I said goats, man. Sorry, bad place. I'm still learning. Be patient. Be patient. And you're in Australia, then I imagine, all the way on the other side. It's the middle of the, well, no, it's like the end of summer there. Kind of getting toward the end of summer, aren't you? Like we're getting toward the end of winter. Much softer than sheep. I did not know that. I did not know that. I learn all kinds of new things every day, and it's all of us can learn at Dad's Workshop, man. I'm learning all the time. That's the whole thing about Dad's Workshop is like, I mean, the woodwork I know a lot about, but the leather and stuff, I'm still learning, man. It's like, come with me, let's learn a little something, something, something. Nothing but patience. Yeah, I know those sheepskins, well, not sheepskins, in your case, goat skins. Those goat skins are good for leather, but you know, if you're harvesting fiber from the sheep, from the goats, then you don't want the goats to be given their skins. This is also making this hide super supple because it's breaking those fibers up again, right? They tighten up again. Whenever it dries, the fibers tighten. Oh, in Wisconsin? Okay. Oh, yeah, I know. Yeah, I'm a little more familiar with Wisconsin than Australia. Like, I've been in Wisconsin a bunch of times. Yeah, so I was born in St. Paul, Minnesota. So, and spent my young childhood over there in southern Minnesota. And then some parts of Minnesota where I spent some glorious days of my childhood, like Greenleafton, way out there in the western southern part of Minnesota. That part's actually connected to Wisconsin. And the last time I think I was in Minnesota, I was actually not in Minnesota. I was actually staying in Wisconsin, in La Crosse, right next to the St. Croix River, which is beautiful, right there between Minnesota and Wisconsin. Yeah, I'm so happy to have you here, man. So happy to have you here. And then also, BK, Baby Kisses is from there, so if she ever pops in the chat today, we can say you're from Wisconsin too. Yeah. Cedar Grow Box, he's from up there, and he's from Wisconsin too. He's from Milwaukee originally, so another Wisconsinite, Wisconsonian, right? You like that? That's a nice way to say it. And a very close friend of mine, when I was growing up, grandmother was in Wisconsin, and I spent time there passing through because there was family there. Not mine, really, other people's who were like family, close family friends. I don't think I have people in Wisconsin, but close, you know, really close. Actually, maybe. My cousin Lucas might live up there. He might live over there, actually. Scotty's. Yeah. Yeah, Cedar, Paul from Cedar Grow Box, who also has a channel, shout out. And BK, Baby Kisses, all from Wisconsin. Yeah. I should have with Dad's Workshop Wisconsin Club. Western New York, Wisconsin. Then a lot of people from Arkansas. We get a lot of Arkansonians here. I want to make a mold for my wet molding buckskin, and I'm going to do some woodwork to do that. basically it will involve using what do you call it, a jigsaw and my bandsaw, and we'll be making a circular mold approximately 24 3/4 inches like this. And then there will be a mold that's the opposite of that, a female, that will go down on top of that to press down the buckskin in that mold, right? Arkansas, yep, and Oklahoma. Welcome everybody, my name is Calvin. This is Dad's Workshop. Right now we are scraping or frizzing buckskin. Let me show you, I gotta do this guys over and over again because we rely on new folks. You guys may not know this, but 98.2% of my viewers are new viewers. That's how it is. That's how live streaming is too. So let me show everybody what I'm doing. I'm frizzing this buckskin so that it's soft like this. This is the way we want it to look. This is the way the buckskin should look. Subscribe to my channel. Subscribe to my channel. Subscribe. Say hello. Put something in the chat. Sorry, I do that every time I come over there. It can be really rigid too, man. He said deer hide is really durable. I had to work the mess out of this to get it to this level, man. It was so, this right here, this piece was like a saddle that cut me one time. On my way to bed, I had it on the front of my bed. It was like a long, because I had it hanging over something. It dried, it was so rigid it could cut you. Like it was that, these little edges right here were actually sharp. That's how tough it was. So it's not naturally gonna let you break it. You have to break it to get it to that level. Taking it from the hide on the animal, which is moisturized with water, right? Because we hydrate. When we hydrate, our body allocates water to the skin, and that's what keeps those fibers together, or that's what's joining the fibers. But when the animal is dead, all that water goes away, and you dry it out of it, you have to replace that water. This is the philosophy behind it, is what I'm trying to get my mind around. You have to replace that water with moisture, with oils, and the best ones to use are thinner oils. Olive oil, if you can get coconut oil, if it's kind of warm, that situation. Now if I want it to be firmer, I put it, this has been bark tan too, so it's been put in a bark solution. That makes it really firm. So when it came out of that, I had to put brains and all kinds of stuff on it. Oh, you can see the tagged product in the corner? Sweet. Yeah, so I think we tagged the salt. If you are tanning something, that pickling salt is, we're just practicing with the tags. We're not expecting you to buy stuff, y'all. It's a new thing that they just opened up to me, product tags. So on here, they don't pay you much. You got to get money however you can get it. These little dark spots are what I'm going after here. It's kind of like matted down, basically. Or there's actually grain still left there, and that's the other thing I'm getting rid of now by scraping it aggressively here. And it's been scraped multiple times, and it's been broken against stuff multiple times. I broke it against a cable also. So I'm pulling it against things, but also this scraping process I think is the most important. I think of the finishing process is that, like, if you haven't scraped everything really well, and I mean really well, you probably should still be scraping. Once I scraped that grain off, the hide broke easily, or more easily. I shouldn't say easily. Nothing was easy about the whole process. The whole process was hard work from start to finish. But welcome to Dad's Workshop, because we love to do this kind of stuff, and it's not a problem. It's like part of the reason I loved it was because it was so difficult, required so much attention. It had to be, you know, multiple times, multiple sessions, and then as you're doing it, you're feeling the product is becoming more soft and comfortable and things like that. The thickness of this, and I don't want to announce this, but the thickness of this leather here versus that other, this is much thicker. This buckskin here is like way thicker. I would need calipers to tell you for sure, but it's way thicker than these other examples down here, which are these are both does, I think. This was a doe, and this was a doe. This was even younger doe here. So you see the texture difference, right? And we're working, what I'm trying to do, guys, is master the art, or master it as much as possible, making this buckskin as soft, you know, so you can basically brush this stuff, you know. That's how soft I want it. And a lot of people, that's what they want. They want fur when they start, and then they're like, oh, I want soft leather, and that's way harder. It takes a lot more work than what you would think. Tremendous amount of work, especially since I also bark tanned it. So tons of work, and the type of work you want to document in video, because you're not going to get it appreciate. It's not going to appreciate the price you get for it's not going to show the appreciation you think it deserves, basically. Welcome to Dad's Workshop. Hey, my name's Calvin. What's your name? Introduce yourself. Say hello. Hi, I'm Calvin. You are Jim. Talia. Any marks out there? Johns. Are there any Johns out there? Oh, I'm getting that off. It's coming off now. Huh. I was not able to get that off last time. Nice. Welcome, welcome. It's okay if you want to be quiet. It's that kind of a quiet morning, and I know we've been struggling here at YouTube to stay connected, but hopefully they can manage. They're doing well so far. We've been on for you know, almost an hour now with no disconnections, and that's the deer in New Hampshire had a good amount of fat on their body. Very intelligent animal. Yeah, they are. So that's where you went, Andrew? You went over to New Hampshire? So you went to Western New England. Yeah, I've been up there too. I went up there in 2015, Western New England, New Hampshire, Vermont. And they do got, you know, they're probably healthy up there because they got, for one thing, they're not being poached a lot. There's not a lot of hunting, so they're getting big. But probably they've got good, you know, like I'm thinking of like the White Mountains. That's probably where you were at. Yeah, southern New Hampshire, yeah. So that highway that runs across up, and I don't know what highway it is, that runs up north, right along the border between Vermont and New Hampshire, through the White Mountains. That's where I was at. And then also, you know, you have to go through Western Massachusetts to get there. You have to pass through like Northampton by Smith College and stuff. You pass by that way. Springfield. But when I was up there, yeah, so I don't know, maybe the cornfields down here, you know, they are a little more lean, that's for sure. But they try to feed them here, and it's not good for them. It messes up their migratory patterns. This deer right here, and I don't want to gross y'all out. I want to make sure I find the right one too. This one. This deer right here had just eaten deer at a deer corn place. Had just eaten corn at a spot where the guy sells deer corn, right? When I found this animal, and it was killed on the side of the road. When I took the animal apart, when I dressed the animal, the guts were emaciated and there was corn in the intestines. So I know that corn could have cost this deer its life. had that deer been feeding in its traditional deer patterns, it probably wouldn't have gotten hit by that car. Because when I opened it up, there was obvious yellow corn in the body cavity, right? So it had evisceration on the inside. I learned a lot. Yeah, acorns. Those are good too, though. Deer can eat a lot of different vegetation. They got blueberries up there, late season. And there's a lot of good plants in the alpine, like in the White Mountains and then up there. They've got stuff up there for the animals to eat. Lots of good berries in the mountains. They got grasses and stuff. They're probably happier up there than down here in the low country where it's either they find a field to graze on, which is flat and unprotected, right? Or they get fed by people. That's not really, unless you're setting up feeding plots, right? That's considered good practice, right? You set up a plot where you grow Timothy hay and you don't harvest it. You let the deer eat it, right? And the deer come by and they eat it, and you give it a couple years and you get a big buck, and then you harvest the big buck because, you know, the next time for the next ones to come in. That's the way that they do land management in the South. It's not feeding the deer. You shouldn't be feeding the deer corn to try to draw them in, to bait them in. I think Lyons was talking about that the other day, baiting big game, and how it's not really kosher to do that. But they will fall for corn, salt licks, things like that. All the people I knew, like in Minnesota when I was growing up, they may have had salt licks on their property, but they would never shoot a deer that was in their yard. Those deer were for looking at and appreciating, right? They went somewhere else for that. The acorns are a great food source. There's also other, Western New England's got a lot of chestnuts. Chinese now, but it used to be American chestnuts. When I was up there, they had quite a few of those. Yeah, but the various types of oaks that you guys got up there, you got a good deciduous. Forest, and the hunting regulations are pretty strong. Maybe not as much in New Hampshire as Massachusetts, but definitely it's harder to get your license up there, and then get tags. You must have got outstate. You might have got. Don't be feeding the deer corn. It's not kosher. It's just a way to mess them up. The doe migratory patterns are the same as they've been for tens of thousands of years, right? Bucks only go 100 yards or so from their bedding spot unless they're chasing after a doe, like they're in the rut, right? So bucks just don't move that much, and they don't move much during the day anyway. It's hard to find a duck. It's easy to find a duck. That's Lions. It's hard to find a buck during the day because they're too smart for that. They go out at night or early in the morning. They're very cautious about where they go. Probably more because of other bucks. They get gored in one of those fights and they could kill them. Deer are so interesting. So interesting. All animals are. Wait for those deer. Yeah, you can use antlers and scrape them together. Sometimes the bucks will come out to that. Get a couple pieces of antlers and scrape them together. It'll sound like the big dominant bucks want to come out when they hear that because they can come out and show off and take the females. You know. Now, as much as I want this leather structural, I don't want it marred with all these spots. So this frizzing is important to me to getting this suede-ish buckskin, because it's like a suede basically, guys. It's very similar. The difference is I'm not putting it through a huge machine to split it, and it's not from a pig. Suede comes from pigs. right now I'm working on a long form video about my experiences. The difference between hunting and gathering hides, like as roadkill or whatever the case may be. Some people have agreements with hunters. The hunters don't always keep the hides. So if you know hunters and they don't keep their hides, then you have an opportunity to use one of those. Not everyone knows somebody who hunts. So they have to find them their own way. That is either getting a hunting license, which is a process, right? And anyone who has a hunting license knows that in every state in the United States you have to have firearm safety to get a hunting license, and that's at least a daily a class. Like you have to take it's one day, right? So it's an 8-hour class. Some have even more requirements than that, but that's a lot. So how do you acquire hides? You don't want to become a hunter. You're not trying to go out and stalk animals. You just want to make leather. Well, then you have a couple options. You can buy hides from farmers or slaughterhouses that are selling the skins, or you can acquire them by picking up roadkill in places that's legal. And it's not legal in all the states. But we're going to talk about that in my video. That's my video is all about. Like here in the state of North Carolina, where I am right now, I have to have my North Carolina hunting license. I'm technically a Virginia resident, so it would be an out-of-state license. And that would be about $248. In order for me to collect the roadkill that I find here in North Carolina, I have to use my hunting tags on that. And if I can't fill my freezer with it, if I can't eat it, it really doesn't make sense to me to put my tag that I had to pay for, and I only get 6 total deer the whole year, right? If I'm a person who's really trying to be subsistent and efficient about what I'm doing, I'm not going to use one of my 6 deer tags on an animal that could be rotted, you know? I don't know until I open it up, but I got to call the cops and tell them, hey, look, there's an animal on the side of the road, and I want to take it. I've got my deer tags here. Technically the law in North Carolina is you got to actually use your deer tag to collect roadkill. It's crazy. Yeah. Oh no, it's a lot. And you got to pay for tax. So the price of the license is not that much. It's another $119 for your deer and turkey tags if you're out of state. Now I don't know what your age is either, Andrew. If you're a little older, sometimes there's discounts for older guys. Like I got my dad his lifetime license, right? So all he has to get is tags. He doesn't ever go hunting. I only got that for him so he could take me out in the national forest. Technically, everybody who goes out there has to be licensed. So I was like, Dad, you got to get your license, man, because I want to go out on public land. And I'm not that avid of a hunter, to be honest. I'm not. Everyone who knows me knows that's not my MO. I'm a craft guy, but I do love it. And it's not the killing. It's the quality product you get. Think about the fact that the meat that you eat has no purpose to its life. Its life is just to sit in a factory farm its entire existence and then get popped in the head with a bolt when it's time for it to get harvested. A deer roams the forest and lives a natural life, and if you hunt it, it's giving itself to you. I believe everything happens for a reason. I believe that Andrew's deer that he got, if you got a deer out there, I think you said you did, right? Those animals give themselves to you. And if you're not ready, then you don't get one. Or if it's just not time, it's just not time. Some people go hunting and don't get anything. And I think the kids get upset a lot when they go out. And they're like, I didn't get anything. I'm not a good hunter. It's not always about, that's why it's not called harvesting. That's why it's not called farming. It's called hunting. You have to hunt for a while to get stuff usually. You're not going to go out and get something 5 minutes later. Kevin said, I bought a lifetime hunting years ago and it has saved me so much money. Yeah, that's so smart, man. They don't offer them in Virginia. I got my dad to get one because I said the best option is you to get this lifetime license. And then you don't have to worry. You can do squirrel and all the small game stuff. You don't need tags for it, you know. So when my dad brutalizes those squirrels up there, he doesn't brutalize squirrels. he actually is legally allowed to do that, but not hurt. He doesn't harm the squirrels. They're a nuisance on his property. They eat all of their produce. All my dad's apples. He's got 8 apple trees. Every one of the apple trees, all the apples were eaten by squirrels. So I went out there the other day on a mission to get me a few squirrels. I did get one. I could have had more. I don't think that rifle was sighted in right. He says it was good. I don't think he knows what he's talking about. Yeah, we eat a lot of it here too, man. It's like every other meal for us is venison. So good for you. Such a healthy protein. Read all the science that's coming out about the healthiness of proteins. All protein is not created equal. There's a difference. This is how I understand it. So, this is the neck area. It's the most stubborn. I'm not completely against tanning this again if I have to even the color out also. This neck area is just very, very, very stubborn. It's matty, schmutzy, and it also has grain on it still. Yeah, they do love apples. It's not really good for them either, like in large amounts. I know small amounts are okay for them, but yeah, they love those apples, dude. When I was little in Minnesota, I used to feed the neighbor horse apples. They loved it. I would feed them grass too. I would sit out there and the horse love it. You know, if you've ever fed a horse, they love it because they don't have to reach their head down. All they do is you feed them grass and they become your friend. And I remember as a little guy, multiple places. My house had horses behind it. But my babysitter's house had horses behind it too, so I would just go out there and just stay with the horses. I like the way they smelled too. I don't know why. Yeah, I think it's in everyone's best interest to as survivors in a world that you don't know. We're in very uncertain times, y'all. You know, there's no question about that. Whatever way you look at it, these are uncertain times. So what you have to do is you have to make sure that you have your survival skills down as best you can. Like I'm not making fire bows every day, but I am practicing like eating wild game, harvesting wild game, using my hunting license appropriately, right? And doing what I can to like reach out to others to tell them that I think the most important thing is to know, stop worrying about buying people's crap. Like people are trying to sell us crap all the time. It's all they do. And then I'm like my sons, I love them. Like my middle child, he is totally bought into commercialism. Love him to death. If you're out there, shout out. Hopefully he's in school and not at home on his iPad watching this. But he just like whatever the product is, he's so into it. And I'm not going to be mean to him because I don't want to sound cynical and negative. That's his thing. He likes the like Five Nights at Freddy's people and the, Mario and stuff like that. Like he likes that stuff. That's okay. But it's nothing wrong with rejecting commercialism, brands, and all the crap they're always trying to sell us. They're trying to sell us crap, man. We don't need it. You find out what you need kind of the hard way, I think, eventually. Money is cool. It's nice. It's important too. Got to be careful with your money. Part of that is learning how to not buy stuff. Like buying things is a terrible addiction, just like any other thing. Very well said, Calvin. Most people today could not live off of land if they had to. I think I would struggle too, and I'm like practicing it every day. You know, some people would survive by socially manipulating others too. That's just a fact, and they know it. They know it. They say, "I would do this. I have a clan in my community. We are all big time friends. Anyone who's not in our group will be out, so to speak." you know. And I'm not talking purge level stuff, but you know, when it comes down to food is the commodity out there, and people get tribal about it, it's gonna be ugly. And I'm not saying that's an eventuality. It may not happen. I hope it doesn't. God forbid, man. Because my kids are kind of far away from me. I would want to just wrap them up, you know. I really hope that that doesn't happen, guys. I hope that my skills just get to be used on a recreational level. To make leather stuff. Make pretty stuff, you know. But the truth is, these woodworking skills and stuff that you see on my channel, if you've been with me since the beginning, shout out. These woodworking skills, these crafting skills, these little things, it's survival techniques, guys. Building stuff with no hardware is a survival technique. My bed that I built, you know, both the two beds I built with no hardware, that was me seeing, hey, in a world where I don't have any nails, you know, pins or screws and fasteners, what can I put something together? Can I build something? You know, if you have no Lowe's, you have no Home Depot, how do you build something? You have no hardware, right? You're away from home. And you just make the creativity thrives within constraints, guys. You know, you're going to be the most creative you are when someone says, this is the rules right here. Here's the rules. Like, here's the rules for me. I get in front of a screen and I can do kind of whatever I want, but the game is this. If it's not fun and people don't give a shit about it, they're not going to watch, right? If I'm not interesting, if I have no charisma, and if I don't command any respect, then nobody's going to watch the shit. It's just that simple, right? That's the game. If I knew if I knew I was going to win, it wouldn't be a game. So I try to enjoy it even when I'm failing, you know? It's even when I'm feeling the worst, I'm like, all right, well, at least I'm in the game. I know what the game is. This is weird. Live streaming is different, man. You guys know that. Right now, some of you are sitting there thinking about this exact thing. A person standing in front of you who was willing to take your comments like in real time while they scrape a deer hide. If you would have told me this was happening when I was little, I would have been like, what now? You know? So, that's that. I'm glad we didn't get disconnected today. Hey, but do tap that, double tap that screen, like this video. It looks like we're wrapping up. I don't want to spend too much time on here today and bother y'all. Make your lives difficult. But they got me on a little bit of a little decline, so sometimes that tells me when it's time to go. This is the flesh out here. I've got stuff that I got to work on that. That's a gold standard quote. Creativity thrives when constrained. Yep. You have to have rules for people who don't understand this, man. It's not going to give a creative person the best outlet to say, okay, go make something. Go. There's some paints over there. Go paint something. Right? You got to tell them to get the best out of someone. They need to, and for them to improve, it needs to be some parameters, right? What am I doing? And you'll notice this with every project that I take on. There's constraints, right? So I didn't just build a bunk bed. I built a bunk bed. I'm not trying to blow my own horn here, though it is my show, so it's kind of my thing. I didn't just build a bunk bed. I built a bunk bed with conventional lumber, like from Lowe's, that I joined together using lamination, right? That I joined on the ends, and all of the corners and all of the joints are wood on wood, right? So my parameters were conventional lumber from the department, from the big box store, and joinery. So can you build a sturdy bunk bed with conventional lumber using joinery and no metal hardware, right? And I was able to do that. I actually doubted myself. I think in a lot of ways the live stream kept me honest. It's been a good day. I'm glad you stayed on today. I'm glad I did too, Kevin. Yeah, I'm glad I did too, Kevin. Thank you for saying that. Also, I appreciate you. Ooh, I just gouged that a little bit there. Sometimes you'll slide when you're not trying to. And that'll happen. This thick neck stuff here is like the best stuff if I'm gonna make a sole, right? Let me show you something too before I go. Ooh, that got some grain off right there. Wow, it just takes straight up elbow grease, y'all. See that? That's just grain that came off. It was all residual grain, and you see how much I've scraped this already, so it's still coming off, right? And it may help the softness, not to put it in the tannins, but to put it back through tannins again and scrape it again. Put it through another fat liquor treatment and scrape it again. We love seeing you do your thing, man. Thank you, Dacian. Thank you. Appreciate you, man. And I love doing my thing for you. So we definitely want to keep this thing going. Yesterday, just to give y'all a review, yesterday I took these hawks and I threw a couple of them in some ash solution to try to, this is a deer hawk, to try to get the hair off of the ones that are, the hair is slipping. I don't want any hair on them. If the hair is slipping, I want it to all come off, just all come off. That's the best way to do it. So just to show you the progress today, it's kind of hard to see, but you gotta, it's the little things, you know. We scraped this guy all over, some spots we still gotta get there. We're just trying to get it all to this nice, I don't know what you would call this color, red oaken color. It is like an oak color. And then that color is the same color that's on the light side on these, or approximately. But this butternut right here, I really like. I'm thinking about tanning it though to get it all closer to this color. And then my last one here, which is the softest one of all, from a small doe. That one also butternut. So this color I would refer to as butternut right here. Maybe this is like a chestnut. This is like a butternut. All different hides. Now let me show you what I discovered. Subscribe to the channel now, by the way. And if you want to communicate with me, Dad's Workshop Calvin at dadsworkshopcalvin@yahoo.com. Don't be shy. Don't be a stranger. I saw the thing off of one of these boots. Let me show it to you. These were made in the U.S. They're actually high quality boots, or they propose to be high quality boots. I don't know if the company still exists, or if I should say the name of the company. It was called Brooklyn Boot Company, if it still exists. They make their stuff in the U.S. So I started sawing off the foam. I'm trying to get this Vibra foam from the bottom and use it on my flip-flops. Like, I want this stuff. It's pretty good stuff. Now, I kind of made a slit right here, but I think I can glue that back together. But that's what that looks like. Let me show you what I saw inside the boot. Look at that, y'all. Y'all see this? Is that asphalt? Is that glue? What is that? Is that leather? Yo, what is, I don't want that on my stuff. Get off, don't touch my stuff. You see that? Oh, did the metal piece fall off? There was metal inside the boot with glue on it. Is this common? I mean, steel toes, right? Oh, it might be cork. It may be cork, Miss Heather. Cork is a good, that might be cork right there, actually. That's actually not a bad idea at all. Yeah, so you see, and then it's glued in, and there's like a seam here. There's a fabric seam here. Why would I care about how boots are constructed, right? Oh, Idaho, Cody, what's up, man? Liquid cork that cobblers use, okay. Yeah, thank you, Cody. Shout out, I was wondering about you this morning. I was like, where did Idaho Cody go? Yeah, so that does look like glued cork. So, and then you see right here, this was like a, they sewed the cork layer to another layer of probably, you know, like pig skin, just hide, some kind of a rawhide type deal. Why am I interested in the way the boots are constructed? Because I want to be able to make my own boots. There's a seam right here too, like a toe seam. See that? Yeah, metal. Where'd that metal piece go? Metal was right here. I guess for structure, I don't know. But yeah, it was set in right there. Weird. Well, that's all I got for you today, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you so much for popping in Dad's Workshop. If you came in late and want to check out these are all on video on demand. But do become a member and do subscribe if you're not, and let's stay in touch. Dad's Workshop, Calvin@yahoo.com. Please do become a member too. That's how we survive here. A little low this month. I know this is the low end of the fiscal year, so we are happy to have everybody here. I am thankful for you. Please do check out my shorts, check out my videos. I'm working right now on a long form video on my process, roadkill, how to use, how I'm making this. This is my apron, by the way, that I made out of different types of leather. Just my process of leather making, and then leather work that I had to learn to make my own stuff, because we're crafting stuff from scratch, right? And that means taking it from raw material to finished product, and that's how we do it. Thank you, thank you. Shani comes in with the always very sweet comments. Appreciate that, Shani. Shout out to all my members and all my friends. Thanks for popping through today. And if you're not here, and if you're out there and you think that you know you got some feelings about me, I understand that. But pop back in and say hi. Don't be a stranger. I love you still. Don't worry about it. Don't get hung up on that stuff. Have a great day. Do the next right thing. And I'll see y'all tomorrow.